Jackson for a long time now. He was 2 or 3 years deep when I first started 7 years ago. Uh, this last year, he was our top rep in the company. I have never ever not seen Jackson sell 250 accounts. He's always sold that many, and now he has one of the bigger offices, and they're were the runner up biggest office in the company too. So, uh,
Yeah,
Jackson
Jackson,
Powell,
move your noggin.
everybody.
Show us your background.
What do you say?
Show us your backdrop. Move your noggin a little bit.
Oh, that Alan. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got a little some trophies up there. Yeah, we got.
Light flex.
Yeah, it's a nice little backdrop. It's fun. So yeah, thanks, Zach. That was pretty good. That was a good little intro. So yeah, this is be going into my ninth summer. I've started this in 2018, and yeah, it's been awesome. Made a ton of money, way more money uh, than I thought I would. It's come to find out, I really like the job, and you can get pretty good at it if you work pretty hard and you stay with it, right? So, um, I'm so tonight we're going to be going over features and benefits. I have like a pre-recorded little video. I'll show that. It's pretty short. It's like it's under 20 minutes. This meeting shouldn't take too long. I think we'll get it done. I'd suggest take notes, on your phone, or if you have a notepad, just write things that come to your mind as you're watching the training. And I'll explain the video a little more in depth, but I'll just say features and benefits. Is really important to know when you're trying to explain a product. It is I think it's one of those things that I do very well in getting a customer to listen to me and get them interested in the product. So, um, yeah, without further ado, we'll get this thing going. So, I should be able to share. Is that you just shared your screen last time, right, Zach?
Yes, sir.
I
Share
did.
screen, then just click play. Make sure you don't have like
Okay.
any speakers plugged in or anything like that, or it'll just show as external.
Nope, I should not. So, okay. Let me see. Go with
Are you on your phone or your computer?
my phone. Yeah. Would that be a problem?
I'm not sure. I did mine on my computer. Let's see. We need. That might be a Patrick Murphy question. No, you can do it on your phone.
I might not, Patrick. I might not be able to share my screen. I need access.
Mm,
Yeah, it's not giving me access to share my screen.
let's see. Patrick. Is Patrick in?
Yeah, he should be.
Um, yeah, I think he has to be able to give you the ability to share your screen.
See real quick. Okay. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right. Everyone see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good thing.
Hello, everybody. So yeah, my name is Jaxon Powell. I'll be doing the training tonight. Today, I wanted to go over features and benefits, and how to work that into the product that we sell, being alarm systems, right? So, when you're selling a service, when you're selling a product to a customer, obviously the customer is not going to buy until you convince them to buy the product, right? You're not going to make your commission until they purchase, and they're not going to purchase until they've been convinced to buy what you're selling. And explaining features and benefits to a customer effectively is the best way to get your customer to buy. And so if you feel like you struggle with getting your point across, if you struggle with getting a customer to want the product, to justify the recurring expense, working on explaining the features and benefits is the best way to fight that, to get better at it, to improve your sales, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, and how to improve that. So jumping right in, you're going to be explaining the features and benefits throughout the entire presentation. You know, it's not really like there's not really one spot, one part of your sales process that you're going to go over this specifically. It's really peppered throughout. However, I would say there's in my process of selling an alarm system, I especially will hit on features and benefits through during the steps of my initial pitch, and then throughout explaining the hot button, which follows shortly after my pitch, and then once you transition into the home of the customer, you get to the step that I call a walkthrough, or the building value stage. And during that stage as well, you're going to hit on heavy features and benefits. So those are the three parts of the sale for me that I hit on those things very hard. So it would be the pitch, the transition, and then the walkthrough and the building value step for the sale. And I'm going to go ahead and share a little graphic that I've prepared that will kind of explain what I'm saying. But here, if you look here, you'll see here are all the steps of the sale for me that I've laid it out. This is the best way that I can explain how to sell a customer. And yeah, like you see there, you got the pitch and the hot button. We'll hit on features and benefits. And then again, the walkthrough and the build value stages as well. You'll hit on it. And again, it's important to remember that you're going to touch this topic. You're going to touch features and benefits throughout, again, the entire sale. But those three stages where, again, I hit on it the heaviest. But you might get a question, you know, as you're getting billing, you might get a question from the customer if they're having doubts about something, and you'll need to go back and resell a customer on features and benefits. As you're doing the DocuSign, the contract, welcome call, as you're getting the email, there's going to be moments as well where you're going to probably need to go back and resell them on something, and explain how something benefits them. So you want to be prepared to be ready to sell, to continue to sell a customer on your service, even throughout the rest of the sale as you're signing them up, getting information, and doing paperwork too. And so I'll go ahead and start breaking it down, kind of what the difference is, right? So what is a feature? What is a benefit? I remember my first summer, I didn't really understand. It didn't really make sense to me, again, in the beginning, what a feature was, what a benefit was, what's the difference, why does it matter? They are two different things. It's important to understand that and how to explain one versus the other to your customer. It'll help you sell for sure, right? So a feature, first off, a feature is something that the service does, a spec or something specific, something about it in general. A benefit is how that feature helps them specifically, right? So again, so a feature is something about the product, like really clear HD vision, you know, with the camera. The benefit is how does that HD vision, how does that clear quality picture help them, right? So that's what you want to make sure that you explain to the customer. Most customers don't really care about the specs or the features of a particular part of the service. They just want to know how it's going to benefit them, just so you're aware too. Like most customers don't really care about the specifics of everything. They don't need to know the 1080p HD. They don't really need to know, you know, the type of frequency that the alarm operates with. They don't really need to know if things are like, like two-way encrypted. They just want to know that they're secure and that they're safe. But it is good to be you still want to be well versed on those specs and those features, because like you will have questions that'll come from customers. You're going to run into those types of customers that have questions, and so it's good to be able to answer those questions. If a customer can tell that you know your stuff, you'll win respect and you'll kind of gain more like authority from them. But don't think you have to like know it all to be a good salesman. That's not important. My first couple of sales, I had no idea what an alarm was. I remember like I was getting dropped off by Brad in the very beginning, and as he was dropping me off, he pulled out like a sales slick, and he was explaining to me real quick, hey, this is what a motion sensor does, this is what a glass break detector does. Okay, here's your area. All right, we'll see you tonight. And that's kind of that's how I remember starting the job. So you don't need to know these things in the very beginning. It will come naturally. So don't overwhelm yourself with feeling like you need to know those things. But it is something that will naturally come. And yeah, on the side, I would suggest getting familiar with the product, doing a little bit of research at night, reading the sales manuals, reading the sales rules, being well versed in those things. But yeah, you definitely don't need to be an expert to sell. People, yeah, again, it's just really good to be familiar with the product that you're selling. And then a benefit. So what's a benefit, right? So the benefit, like I said earlier, this is the important part. It's using what you know about your service or the product to explain how the service will help them specifically. So you want to help the customer see themselves using this particular feature in their own lives. That's what a benefit is. You're showing them how they're going to use that feature in their life. We call this painting the picture, right? You kind of want to help explain to the customer, help them paint the picture with their own mind, see themselves using the service and using that particular feature to benefit themselves in their daily life. And so once you can get them to see the benefit, how this product will benefit them, this will get them sold on buying that service more than anything else you can do. And so the feature, kind of in conclusion with it, the feature explains the what or what it does. The benefit explains the how or how this applies to me. So I'll go ahead and we'll go over some examples of how to do this, right? How to sell and teach on the features versus benefits. So for example, in a non-alarm system setting, like for example, if you're selling a car with good gas mileage, what's the feature? The feature would be that the car has 35 miles per gallon on the highway. That's a feature. What's the benefit of that? The benefit would be, you could say, because the car gets 35 miles per gallon, you will save so much money, driving this car. You're probably only have to go to the gas station like once a week. You mentioned you drive like at 45 minutes to work every day. Is that right? Yeah. So this is going to help you a lot there. You're not going to have to get as much gas. It gets better gas mileage on the highway anyway. So if you're driving on the highway, that'll help you for sure. So you like this car because of that, with the miles per gallon that it gets. It's going to be way better than your car that you have right now. So in this example, the customer learns that the vehicle obviously has good gas mileage, right? But the benefit shows how the car with the good gas mileage will benefit their life because of that feature and how it's specific to them. If a customer drives a long distance every day to work, they're going to imagine themselves using that and benefiting from it every day, which then makes the customer want the car even more. Now that maybe I walked into the dealership and I'm wanting to buy it today, but now I'm starting to see myself walking away with this car today. And then another example in the alarm sphere, right? For example, there's a lot of features with the product that we sell. So for example, the ADT Control app, it allows customers to see and monitor their own alarm system right from their own smartphone. That is a feature. The alarm system comes attached with its very own app. The benefit of that is that because the ADT Control app lets you see and control your alarm system from your phone, no matter where you are, you can always have the peace of mind that your family and your house is okay while you're away, at work or anything like that. You mentioned that you travel a lot for work. You're gone out of town a little bit, because of your job. And so while you're gone or something were to happen, like if you didn't lock your door, if you're not sure if you locked your door, you can just double check and lock the door right from your own smartphone. If something were to happen to your house while you were gone, you would notify immediately that there was trouble going on in your house. If someone dropped a package off at your door while you were gone, you'd see it from your phone, and you could reach out to like your neighbor to see if they could come grab the package for you while you were away. Things like that. And so here we hear that, for example, the customer, they get to learn that the alarm app allows. That's the feature. There's an app on this on your phone. The benefit is the customer gets to see their system right from their phone. And what that means, what that benefit is, right, is that the alarm app is going to give them the peace of mind knowing that their house is good. And I know this for a fact because I'm watching my house right now on my phone. I'm going to be able to self-monitor my house, and then plus I'll be able to see if I get a package delivered, lock the door, things like that. That gets me as the customer to want to buy this product even more. And then another good example you could do is the Google doorbell camera. It has a 2K HDR resolution. It's super clear. That's the feature. Okay. The benefit would be because the doorbell camera has super clear vision. It's actually 2K HDR. You're going to be able to see clearly who's at your door always, whether you're at home on the couch or you're at work or you're miles away on the beach on vacation. You're going to be able to clearly see and recognize who is at your doorstep. And so will your wife. You know, if you're away on vacation, or sorry, if you're away on work and you're not home, your wife's going to be able to see who it is, and so she can know if she should open the door or not, right? That's an example for the customer. In this example, the customer learns that the doorbell camera has super clear vision, 2K quality, but the benefit shows how the doorbell camera will benefit their life because the clear doorbell camera helps them clearly see who's at their door, no matter where they're at. It gives them the peace of mind of knowing that, hey, my wife also can see who's at the door while I'm gone. As well. And so this makes me as a customer, if I'm the customer, this will make me want the product even more. And then we'll do one more. Another feature, for example, is the ADT alarm system. It has 24/7 monitoring through their alarm panel, through Wi-Fi, and has a cellular backup, and also has a battery backup, and that battery backup can last, like 24 to 48 hours. That's a feature, would be the 24/7 monitoring through Wi-Fi and cellular communication with a battery backup. What does that mean, right? How does that help me as a customer? The benefit would be because the alarm system is monitored 24/7. You have the peace of mind of knowing that someone's always there to keep your house safe, to keep an eye on your house. And then even if something were to happen during the middle of the night or middle of the day while you're at work, like if there was an internet outage or a power outage, the cellular and the battery backup ensures your house is still protected and monitored against the potential theft or fire. So your house is always going to be protected, even when crap hits the fan. Whether you're on vacation, you're asleep, someone cuts your power, something like that. And so in this example, the customer learns that the alarm system's monitored 24/7 with the cellular and battery backup, but the benefit shows how the monitoring service with the backups will benefit their life because the monitoring provides, again, that peace of mind of knowing that their house is always being protected against theft or fire, even in the case of an internet or power outage. The benefit is what makes the customer want the service more. And so now you sold me on the app on the phone. So now I want an app on the phone. I want a doorbell camera with it. And now I for sure want the alarm system because you told me that I don't need power or internet, and it's going to protect my house 24/7. So explaining those three things, now I'm sold as a customer, right? Now I just need the price to make sense. And you can make the price make sense pretty easily, and that's a topic for another day. But you want to get the buying temperature as high as you can to where the customer will justify buying that product. And so I always like to compare it to like a scale, So like for example, if the price is less significant, than the product itself, well, then the customer is going to buy. So you want the product, you want the benefits of the product to be heavier than the price. You want there to be an imbalance there, So once the product is better than the price, the customer is going to buy. And the way that you get to show that the product is better than the price is by explaining the features and benefits. And I would say, and one thing on that note too, I tend to sell big systems. I tend to sell systems that cover all the zones and that I give extra equipment away when I finance. And so it also helps you sell finance packages too, because my customers get a lot of equipment. And so for them, it makes sense to pay $86 a month because they want the glass break, they want the motion, they want the smoke, they want the doors, they want the camera, the door lock, the smart thermostat. I tend to give bigger systems. And when I don't finance, I tend to use all of my points, or almost all of my points. The reason is because, again, if you take the time to really explain to the customer what they want, like why they want it and why it helps them, why it benefits them, customers are going to hold on to that more. And so they're going to want that extra they're going to want the motion sensor. They're not going to just want 3 doors and a camera. They're not just want 2-door sensors and a camera. Like, that's not an alarm system. You sold them a camera and then you threw 2-door sensors at it. And so you want to properly protect the customer's house. And again, by hitting on features and benefits, the customer can understand why this is a good service, why this is a good product, why they want it, why they need it, how they're going to use it, how it's going to help them. And then it leads to happier customers too. Down the road, they feel satisfied. They feel like they're being protected. And so when the Vivint guy knocks on their door, or some other guy with another company knocks on their door down the road, they're going to answer the door and feel satisfied, knowing that, no, yeah, Jaxon gave me a good product. He protected my windows, my doors, gave me smoke detector, gave me 2 cameras. Yeah, no, we're good. We're happy with it. Rather than a smaller system, that they're not as satisfied with. And so, features and benefits is a good way. It's the best way to get your customers sold. And again, it leads to more sales too. If you can convince more people to buy the product, well, then obviously you're going to get more people to buy the product, which means you're going to get more sales, more installs, more commission, more money, more accounts. And that's what we're really all after here. So I'd like to challenge everybody, like, read the sales rules, read the manuals, get familiar with how the equipment works, but don't spend so much time on necessarily the specs of it. More so spend time on the benefits. How is it going to help? I generally try to have like 2 or 3 things to say on every piece of equipment that I sell a customer. Why is a motion sensor important? Why would the customer want it? For these, like, have 2 or 3 things to say about it. Glass break as well, smoke detector, the doors, the key fob, the medical pendant, a doorbell, outdoor, indoor camera, door lock, smart thermostat, every single part of the equipment every single thing that they're getting, you need to tell them like 2 or 3 things and how it's going to benefit them. And it's really not that hard. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. How would a single mom with kids use a doorbell camera? How would an older couple that's retired and they're home all the time, how would they use a doorbell camera? How would an old lady living on her own, how would she use the medical pendant? How would a busy dad with kids and a job and a wife that works, how would he use the alarm system or the app on his phone? And it really doesn't take that long. Like, you can type it up in your notes, or you can kind of make it up on the fly. Just imagine how you think they would use it, and use those 2 or 3 things when you're explaining the alarm system. And so that would be my challenge today, is to go home and tonight and before the next training meeting, study up on the sales manuals and get familiar with every single thing that particular product does, so that way you can know how to better sell the product that you're selling. And this will ultimately lead to more sales, more commission, and better money for everybody, which is what we want, right? So.
All right. So let me try to stop sharing my screen. Is it off now? Or is it still on? Oh, yeah, stop. Boom. All right, there we go. It's been a couple of years since I was in college, so I'm not as familiar with all this Teams and Zoom crap. So embarrassing myself. All right, but okay. So that was the training. I can hear myself echoing in someone's. Oh, I think it's gone now. Okay, sweet. Okay, so that was the training there, guys. I feel like that topic is pretty simple, and watching the video back, I think I over explained it for sure. So I don't think there's really much more to say on that topic. I can answer some questions in a second. One thing I was going to say though was that because now you kind of see why it's important to do that, because again, that is the way that I get customers sold, is by explaining features and benefits. And so I guess I didn't really say how I do it though, or where I put those words in. So like I said early on, like in the pitch, I'll bring up the doorbell camera. So like you put the sign in the yard, it helps us. ADT gets advertising. So because you help us, we're going to give you a doorbell camera and an alarm system. This is what the doorbell does. So the doorbell, we'll put it right here. It's got really high quality. And so because it's like an HD quality camera, you're going to be able to, and then I'll go right into the benefit. Does that make sense? So when I'm explaining what they're getting, I just go right into it. So yeah, so the doorbell camera feature benefit. Yeah, so feature benefit, feature benefit, feature benefit, 2 or 3 things. And then we're gonna do an outdoor camera. I'll take you over here. We'll put over your car just where you normally park. Yeah, so the outdoor camera feature benefit, feature benefit, feature benefit. I'm gonna step inside real quick, show you where the door sensors go. We put it right here. How it works, feature benefit, and so on. Right. So that's kind of how I do it. I explain. I like kind of mention a feature, but I'll hit heavy on the benefit, right? And I'll just kind of rinse and repeat that over and over and over again. And that is how I get people sold on the product. And the goal is when you want to sell the product so much that when you drop price, the customer says, like, oh, that's it. Oh, okay. You know, that's how you know you've done a pretty good job. You want to like get to a point where you're like being a dead horse. Like they're like, okay, okay, okay. Like, yeah, how much is it? Let's do it. You know, any questions or anything?
Hey, quick question, Jackson.
Yeah.
es- Especially for rookies, whenever we're talking about whenever you're doing your benefits, I know that at some point throughout your process, um, the benefits they feel like they weigh more as they get more serious. Do you feel like you're saying like you're getting more into serious things that an alarm can do toward the end, closer to price drop, or do you feel like you're doing it sprinkled throughout, or is it something that it stays pretty light at the beginning and then it gets a little more like, okay, yeah, nobody's dying because you have this type of thing? Or how are you sprinkling the weight of your benefits throughout your process?
Um, so you mean like the alarm itself and like the alarm, like the monitoring, the 24/7,
Any of them?
or you
Like,
mean anything
just
in general?
like, I mean, obviously at the front, you're not talking about, yeah, door sensors in case somebody runs in the door and shoots you in the face because your neighborhood's so bad, right? But at some point, would you say something that's pretty like serious in regards to an alarm?
I don't think I would. I think how I do it is I will fully sell that product, that part of the system in that moment. And so I will say everything that there is probably to say about the door sensor. Like I said, 2 or 3 things. That's it. Um, and then I'll move on to the next thing, and then motion sensor, glass break. And it's true, kind of like Zach said, you don't want to be you don't want to like scare people into getting an alarm system. Scare tactics aren't, you don't need to use scare tactics, and it can rub people the wrong way. But at the same time, you're selling an alarm system. An alarm system exists to protect homes and to protect your wife and kids and your family, right? So you need to you do need to bring it up a little bit, because that's the whole point. An alarm system is not so that you can see your package get delivered at your door. It's not so that you can adjust your thermostat anywhere in the world. Like, the alarm system at the end of the day is to protect your home and family from fire, theft. So do bring it up a little bit. Yeah, so like, yeah, we'll do a door sensor. We'll put it right above your door. Normally, people try to break in through the back door. Here, I'll go show you. It's your back door over here. March over the back door. We'll put it up here. How it works, it's wireless, and so you don't need to run any wiring. If someone kicks the door open, normally they'll break the glass and just unlock the door. And then, so yeah, so I'm like painting the picture, right? So then they step in, and once they're in your house, that door sensor, there's little magnets, and they'll separate, and that's how we know someone's breaking through your back door. So I'll try to do like one, or yeah, maybe like one thing, show the need, bring up the seriousness of a break-in, because that's the whole point of an alarm system. But I do like to try to keep it light too. And I'll say, after I've said that, I'll say a lot of people also like it for their kids. Like if your daughter wants to go sneak out and be with the boyfriend, you know, if the door opens, it'll chirp, and so it'll let you know, right? And you'll say that with a smile and like laugh, and then now you're just kind of lighthearted. So I would say it's like little jabs. It's good to keep it lighthearted, like Zach said. But yeah, I think it's a good thing to bring up um, a few, like, no, yeah, this is a serious thing. But yeah, again, to answer your question, I'll do it in the moment. So if I've sold on the door sensor, I've already brought it up, I probably won't circle back to it. I'll just hammer that one down and then move on of an emotion. Or I try to do it like in order, pretty uh like step by step. Yeah, that's a good question though. Anybody else? Oh yeah, Derek.
So as you're walking up to the door, the big question is, hold on, let's see if I have to get rid of the hand thing. The big question is like, you get your initial hello in, your initial intro. They then, are obviously not thinking like, get off my porch, you strange person. You built just enough rapport. Uh, how soon are you in that pitch building into trying to get them financed and stuff? Did you just assume at looking them that they're going to be financed, or like, what are you doing with that?
So my tactic, my strategy is I try to finance everyone until you don't qualify. So, and it doesn't really care, yeah, what you look like, right? Now, yeah, I mean, I'm not dumb, like if I come up to a house and yeah, that the tires are all flat and it doesn't look like there's a running vehicle and there's got like a broken window and there's duct tape fixing the window, like, okay, they're probably not a credit homeowner. Um, So what I'll do, I'll still pitch the financing, but I'm going to build a smaller system. So if they fail, I can easily pivot to the regular ADT. Does that make sense? My pitch doesn't change. That's the nice thing. So like for example, the words that I use in my little pitch are the same. So if I am trying to sell someone, I'll knock on the door. I say, hey, yeah, I'm with ADT. We're going to pick a couple of houses. You put this sign in the yard. ADT is going to install an alarm system, and we're going to take care of all the upfront costs. That's all I say. And so that doesn't, and which is true, because if you finance, ADT will take care of all the upfront costs, and so you won't pay anything today. And then if you do a regular ADT, it's the same thing. There's no upfront costs. So don't pay anything today. So that's a nice thing. I don't really have to like show my cards yet. I kind of keep them close. And then when I run your credit, and if you're a D credit homeowner, and then I pre-qualify you for SCEPS and you fail, well, it's fine. Now my path has been chosen for me, so I go, down that path of not finance. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, do me the super solid and everyone else is super solid. Could you just get like post in the chat that beginning intro, because I'm just gonna steal it. I'll be honest, I'll steal it because that sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. I can type it out. So, but yeah, again, I can do that.
Thank you.
Again, if just so that way people can hear it. Yeah. So the pitch is the same. So, hey, I'm with Jaxon, I'm with ADT. I don't want to take too much of your time. My job's, I'm in charge of these little blue signs. I'm sure you've seen them. My job is to find a few houses that can put the sign out front. If you do that, we're going to pick 2 houses today that if you put the sign out front, we're going to come in and we do an alarm with cameras and we take care of all the upfront costs because you're one of the 2 houses and you help us get more customers. So one thing we'll do is we'll do a doorbell camera. How this works is we'll put it right here and then feature benefit, feature benefit, feature benefit. So then, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, financing's great because I will say there's been many times I've been pleasantly surprised where I'm like they're missing a couple of teeth and they're like, well, how much is it? And I'm like, well, let's see what your credit's like first, buddy. And so I run their credit and it's a B credit homeowner and I gulp. I'm like, I'm sorry. Yeah. Can I get you a glass of water? Right. So, you never know. So it's nice to be, treat everybody the same because you have no idea. I've been surprised at a lot.
Hey, yo, Omar's got a question.
Okay.
Hey, what do you do when the customer's giving you pushback on you trying to explain the features and benefits and they just don't give you the opportunity to do that?
What are they saying? Like what pushback do you mean?
Like I'll be like, yeah, this is the doorbell, blah, blah, blah. It has this. And then I'll try to give them their benefit, but they're kind of just like, skip over it. I know what it does, blah, blah, blah.
I really don't get that personally. I think the reason that I do it is because I don't know how. I think the reason I really don't get it because I think that I try to come across almost like I'm teaching them, and maybe it's the tone that I use. And then I'll say like I'll use words like I'm sure, or yeah, like you've probably seen. So if I already kind of hit it on the head, like yeah, and like you've probably seen, right? You can see you'll get an alert on your phone, right? You probably have like a brother or sister has something like this. So once I've said that, then they can't say I know how it works, because um because I already said it. And then the other thing that if you do get that, then I would counter with point out a couple of things that the doorbell camera does differently, because the doorbell camera is different. It has like smart alerts. Um, it it has like it can like recognize faces. It can recognize whatever's going on. It can tell you if a package is delivered like right at that moment. A lot of people just have a regular Ring doorbell camera that they hardly check and pay attention to. And so you telling them that, yeah, no, like the doorbell camera will tell you at 3:46 p.m. a package was delivered, and then your husband Steve picked it up at 4 o'clock. It'll literally tell you him by name. So I would say that if you're getting that, then you as the expert, tell them a few things that I'm sure they don't know. And then maybe
Appreciate
with your tone, yeah. And then maybe you like with your tone, you almost want to come across like you're educating, like you're teaching. That's how I feel like I'm teaching them about it. And so I feel like they listen to me even though they might know a lot about it already. Matthew, got a question?
Uh, because a lot of homes do have like their little Ring doorbells, or maybe even they have some cameras, posted outside the house. How do you go about approaching a home like that if you already see they kind of have something in place?
Yeah. So that's why you want to keep your head on a swivel. You want to keep your head up and look around. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people I've seen, they'll like go through the motions. They'll be on Snapchat, they'll be on Instagram as they're going up to doors, and you're missing a huge part of the process. When I walk up to a house, I like to size up the house a little bit. I like to kind of scout it out myself to see like, okay, I see a doorbell camera. There's a doorbell camera. I saw there was a camera over their cars, and it looks like they have a minivan and a truck. So now I know immediately as I'm going up to the door that this potential customer that's probably is a family. So there's a few things that they're going to want about the alarm system I can use to my favor. And then if they already have a doorbell camera, if they already have an outdoor camera, to answer your question, what I do is I pitch what they don't have. So for example, my go-to would be a door lock and the alarm system. I'm going to assume they don't have an alarm system, and then they definitely don't have a door lock because I can see that they don't have it. So I'll say like, yeah, so because you guys help us with the sign out front, what ADT does is we'll come in and we'll add a couple of things. Now you already have a few things. You already have some cameras. We do cameras, but I mean, your cameras, do they work okay? And I'll ask him and I'll like nod my head, like, do your cameras work fine? And a lot of the times they'll say, yeah, no, they're fine. Okay, yeah. So if your cameras work fine, we don't even need to touch them. We'll do this though. We'll do a door lock and we'll build around what you guys haven't done yet. And then the door lock is the hot button. And so I will pitch whatever they don't have. And then if they, on the rare occasion that they do have everything, then I'm just going to pitch upgrade. So yeah, how long have you had this for? Cool. Okay. Yeah, if you could change anything about it, what would you change? Oh, well, yeah, we've actually wanted newer cameras. Okay. Yeah. Why is that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I got you.
So try to find the missing, the chink in their armor, and sell that. Yeah. So, Alan.
I was gonna add to that, like Matthew, also make that the reason you're there. That's what I do. A lot of you see they have a doorbell camera. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, how you doing? I'm Al. I'm working with ADT. I saw because I see your doorbell camera. Why didn't you go from there? Because then you beat them to the punch. Now they can't play that card on you. And I'll even say sometimes like, hey, yeah, ADT is doing this new program to have us pick out homes that already have cameras on them, like yours, and then go from there, right? So now you're telling them, hey, this is for you, like it's more specific for you, and they still can. They can turn around and be like, oh, I already have a camera, so you already beat him to the punch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of make them feel special, I guess, in a way. And before they try to dismiss you, you give them like, hey, look, wait, here's this specifically for someone in your position.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about how you frame it. I remember I was on a blitz in Nashville once, and yeah, it was a house that had blink cameras around the property. I could tell. he had like 6 of them. He had a Blink doorbell, and so that's exactly what I said. Like Alan was saying, hey, we picked your house because of this reason. We want to partner with you, and so at then, and he like loved it, and so we did a door. We financed him, and it was remember it was a door lock, a smart thermostat, and then all his doors, all his windows, multiple motions, smokes, glass breaks. Like we did everything that he didn't have. And it was like a big fat finance too, and he loved it because I was like, "Yeah, no, go keep your cameras. It's fine. You just don't have this and this and this." And it ate it up. So it's all about how you frame it. Customers, a lot of people will love it, and so some won't, some can't. Right, you just got to move on, but some will, and there's your sell.
Because they obviously are interested in the product. They may have something like it,
Yeah.
but it's like they're obviously interested in something like that. It's just, hey, what can I do more for you, or what can I get that you don't already have?
Yeah, and there's a good percentage of those people that have the cameras that they're already satisfied and they're not interested. Those people will tell you no. But like you said, Matthew, there's a good chunk of them out there that if they've thought about getting cameras, if they've installed cameras, odds are they've thought about getting an alarm too. So yeah, they're probably going to be interested to some extent. Yeah, that was a good question. Anybody else? No? Zach, you raising your hand or is that your finger? No, you're all good. All right.
I'm just swiping.
Okay. Let me see. I'll put my number in the chat. Derek, if you had, because Derek, I know you wanted me to send you like a pitch or something like that. If you guys want to say my number, you can. But you shoot me a message. I can send you something. But there's my number. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions. But if not, we'll go ahead and we'll end this little call. So thanks for hopping on.
Also, that the video that Jackson just made, just like the one we did last week, all that'll be on YouTube too. So if y'all aren't
Yep.
following us on YouTube, it's Join Evo Pros on YouTube. You'll see the logo. That way, all these trainings will be for y'all to watch later during the summer every day. Please watch them every day. That'd be great. But
Yep. True. All right. Sounds good, guys. Well, everyone have a good night.
thank you, Jackson.
Yep, exactly.